Hey, this is Micah Wynn with Oasis Ministries, and today I'm here with my wife,
Jesse.
and we are starting our new podcast. I don't know if you've heard, we've done this new thing in the youth group, Game Changers, and some of the kids in church, and it's rounded up. Now we have a few parents doing it as well. We're doing the Bible course starting in Genesis, and we're going all the way through. So a Bible course, if you've never heard of this, and this is your first time hearing about the Oasis Ministries Bible course, it's a simple one sheet of paper that we will mail to you, or if you're local, you can come pick it up and hand it back. And Sister Liz, in our office, after you do it, you'll give it to her, mail it in, however. Mm-hmm. We send a mail-in thing with it, don't we?
We do. Yeah. So you can just send it right back to us.
You can send it right back to us. She will grade it and then send you the next one. The first course is extremely easy, and it's interesting. It's chapters 1 through 5. And we're in Genesis 1 through 5, so we're going to hit some creation, and we're going to stop right at the premise of Noah. So what we wanted to do with this is we're trying to get these kids a hunger after the Bible. So we've gotten some posters, we've got all sorts of illustrations, and a lot of things going on in Sunday school and on the youth side. But to make sure that they stay encouraged during the week, and that we stay encouraged during the week, we are doing a little podcast. So today, the title of my podcast is Genesis 1 through 5. Simple little thing. Oh, this is called Led by the Word. I like that title.
Well, you came up with it.
Yes,
so.
hey, I feel proud of that one. You know, we worked so hard. We got a whiteboard down here for our creative ideas. Everybody comes up with some of the coolest names, and I feel proud of this one. I feel really good with this one.
It's a solid name.
It's a solid name. Okay, we're going to go straight into this. The thing that is so powerful about the Bible, people have questions. Where did I come from? Where did the world come from? Where did the universe come from? The beginning of the Bible starts at the beginning. So it leaves no room for wonder. It leaves no room for curiosity. It leaves no room for filling in the blanks. You know, people can say, well, what was before this? Or who did this? Or who's more powerful than God? And people love to throw that kind of stuff in here to fill with doubt. But what we know is in the beginning, God created. And I think that's something I'm thankful about. Actually, that's something I know I'm thankful about, because when Kara's old enough to ask questions, and she can say, well, what was before this, or what was before this? And we can go through all sorts of civilizations. We can go through the presidents of America. But if we keep going back, eventually we're going to hit one stopping spot. And that's that there was nothing but God. And I am glad to know I was created in the likeness, in the image of the God who created everything. That is powerful. So if you're ever in your life feeling less than, or wondered, what is my purpose? What is my ability? You were created, hear this, in the likeness, in the image of the creator of everything. What do you think of that?
Well, I actually read the first 5 chapters this morning, so it's still kind of fresh on my mind. But I absolutely love that. When I was a child and my parents would take me to Sunday school, even though they weren't really believers at the time, I remember standing in our bathroom and asking my mom, like, what does God look like? And she explained to me, well, God, is a spirit. He's not just a man. He's, living in us, dwelling in heaven. He's omnipresent, all of this. But in the scriptures, it says that, he, like you said, he made man in his image. So we're looking like the spirit of God. And that's, I don't know, when you look in the mirror, and I know that women do this especially, but men do too, and you think, well, you're less than, you're not worthy. You were made in the image of God. You're living so beyond the true fulfillment. When you talk yourself down like that, you're talking down the creation of God.
And here's something else. Everything God made was originally, at its conception and creation, was good and perfect.
Yeah.
God didn't make an eagle and go, Oh, and here's one thing. I feel a lot of tangents coming on in this because I'm so excited about it. But here's one thing that stuck out to me. When God was creating all this, and he says, I made this thing, and I made the fowl of the air, and I made this. The largest animal we know of today is the great whale. And God was like, and I made the great whale. I like how he even had to throw that out there. That's the biggest, so I'm going to call that the great whale. But anywho, back to where I was. God, when he created all these things, he didn't create it to be second class. He created it to be full, to be perfect. Anything that bad that happened to Adam, anything bad that happened to Eve, was self-done. it was their fault that they had to be thrown out. It was their fault that the cherubims had to guard the gate or guard the side of the whole garden. And, when God created you, we accept all these things on us. And sometimes we don't accept things. Sometimes we speak things on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And God did not create you to be that way. Okay, next thing, I want these to be kind of shorter so we can go and cover a lot of ground and keep everyone interested in staying on course with us. When you were designed to live in a relationship with God. What do you think of that?
So originally, Adam and Eve were in the garden. Adam walked with God, right? He had that kind of relationship. And it just is a solemn reminder that this scenario we're in right now was not the original scenario. It wasn't the ideal. The ideal is for us to, when we pass on from this life into the next, is to be in that kind of relationship with the Creator where we are walking alongside of Him. And it really puts your 80, 90, 100 years on earth into perspective. It is just a flower that quickly fades. It's just here and gone tomorrow. And it really, honestly, this is kind of off topic, a tangent, but it puts in perspective soul winning. If we're only here for 75, 80 years and we're wow, we get to spend eternity with, the Creator of the universe, you best be believing you need to bring everyone to that eternity that you can with you.
Oh, if not, if it wasn't a large focus on earth, why would God not just save us and take us home?
Exactly, yeah.
God saved us for a purpose and for a time such as this, just like with Esther. Esther saved a whole kingdom for her compassion and passion for those people. And then we get here and we get saved and we keep it in and we keep it selfishly. Okay, coming down to the next one. Something wild that I read, and I'm not good at any of these definitions. I don't know about this stuff. I'm having to do a lot of searching along as I'm going. God is what they call transcendent. Transcendent means above and beyond the world. He is in heaven. He is ruler of all. He is way, way out there, and He's transcendent. He's all-powerful. And that sticks out with me. And I see this God who's, when there was nothing, there was Him.
Mm-hmm.
I see this God when He's in heaven, and the cherubims surround Him, and they cry, holy, 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 and that's Him. But then there's also this other word, immanent, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's immanent, and that means that He is within the world. And that's the definition, immanent. He's within this world. But what I define it as is He is within our reach. He is within my grasp. And when He created all this, and He created this pretty much as a dominion for us to rule, for animals for us to rule, animals for us to name, everything for us to control, God also made it as a place of meeting between us and Him. And I am thankful that as powerful and as transcendent, as great as that word is, He's also immanent, which means He can come down to me. Okay, here's the one that stuck out with me. God creates humans. Everything He says, this is good, this is good, this is good. And He comes down to humans and He says, but this is different. This is in my likeness. This is in my image. And more than just that, He didn't stop with creating it with speech. He knelt down and He breathed into man life and gave him a living soul. So He put all this effort into it. And then He takes time. He walks with Adam. He spends the cool of the day with Adam. And He has all this efforts put into Adam. But the first people failed. Think of that.
Mm-hmm.
All that effort, all that power, all that passion. God come down from heaven, come down and creates all this and does all this work 6 days, and it fails. I created the cow. It was good. I created the great whale. It was good. I created those cool little turtles that I like to go see at the zoo. It was good. Then He comes to man. Man was everything good and in His image. But man was the only thing that had the ability to fail Him. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, first, I really do, like what you said, everything He created out of His voice, pretty much. He moved across the face of the waters, and then, He said, let there be light, let the greater light rule the day, the lesser light rule the night. He did all of this with just His voice. That's how powerful He is. But with man, He did take extra special time, and I love that, where He breathed into His nostrils, and man became He had a living soul. That's a huge difference, not just the likeness. I mean, He could have made animals in His likeness, really. He could have done anything He wanted to, but He specifically chose man to be His image and breathe into a living soul. But I do think that because He made him in His image, He made him with a choice. In nature, you see animals always follow a pattern, right? Like the fish swim
Thousands of
upstream.
years.
Yeah, they have natural predators. They, do a thing. They hibernate. They live in certain areas. They migrate in the winter. They always follow a certain instinct, if you will. But he gave man free will, just as God has the choice,
So man fails, and creation doesn't end. The world doesn't end. He doesn't start from scratch. He doesn't go make Earth 2. He goes down, and I love the story of how he brings in the lamb, brings them in the coat, covers their nakedness, teaches them the sacrifice, and does all this. But God loved them so much. They're in this garden. They ate of a tree of knowledge of good and evil. But then God has this, he don't have like a light bulb come on like me, but God looks down and says, goodness, goodness, goodness. This is me talking. He said they've ate of this, and now they're living this cursed lifestyle, this painful lifestyle. Now they're facing all this knowledge, all this pain. And he said, right over there is another tree with another failure. And that would be the tree of life.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you are thankful, and I'm thankful right now, that we're not cursed to live in eternity like this? I was thinking that we read, and God threw them out of the garden and cast them out. God did that because he loved them.
Oh, yeah, he's merciful.
Oh, God was so merciful. God could have been like, you know what? I'm just going to abandon earth. You go eat that. Have your eternity. I'm going to leave you in this eternity that you've now made. And then we know about the ground. We know how animals are now. They're fighting each other. It's no longer this peaceful, wonderful place. That's never what God intended. God intended everything to be good. Like I put it right here. When God created, everything was originally good. And God's facing this new creation that man has now intertwined in and rooted itself in and started messing things up. And God's heart pours out of him and says, I don't want Adam and Eve to live permanently here. I don't want Micah and Jesse to have to live permanently here. Whoever's watching this, I don't want you to have to live permanently here in this cycle. And God loved us enough to step down from eternity into time, because I believe there was no time before this. I believe there were sunrises and sunsets, but I believe Adam could have lived forever in this situation, in this era. And God steps down into this new cursed place, and he says, I want to protect you from the immortality of being like this. And I am thankful for a God that loves us that much.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Anything you want to add here at the end?
Just from the beginning, you can already see the love for his people. Day one, and then even when they mess up, like you said, he still made a way for them to join back to him in death. So I think that's pretty bad.
We've got so much going, and I know we're doing chapters 1 through 5, and I really just hit chapters, 1 through 3, a tiny bit of 4 there. Going forward, please take a moment, like this, comment, share this with your friends. This is called Led by the Word. We're going to go through the entire Bible, and we're doing just one sheet a week. If you are interested in being a part of this, don't feel like you're behind. Don't feel like you can't catch up. This is super easy stuff, and we're doing a slow timeline where everybody can do this. Comment, message us, or call us 1-877-226-4088, and we will get you this Bible course. Thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless you.